Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojo Baka. To our very first story, there has been an increase in terrorist attacks on vessels transporting crude oil and petroleum products through parts of Africa and Middle East as well as Europe. Now, the attacks predominantly carried out by the Yemen Houthis rebels is due to the current war between Israel and Hamas. But for us in Ghana, should we be worried about this development? Let's get on to Zoom and speak to Executive Director of the Institute of Energy Security, Nana Mwesi the 7th, for more on that. Thanks so much, Nana, for joining me on Business Live. First off, could we be overstretching this discussion when we ask that should Ghanaians be worried about these attacks?
Thanks for having me, Pius. Of course, we must be concerned about the happenings on the global front with respect to oil, gas supply, and basically energy supply, because we are, basically an oil importing country when it comes to fuels like diesel, petrol, and the rest. And basically, the main ingredient to produce this petrol or diesel is crude oil. And so when you find happenings on the global front threatening the supply of crude oil, then you must be worried. And as we see today, the war between Hamas and Israel is now extending into the sea, and that's problematic for the global oil and gas supply.
I see. It has moved from Israel's flagged vessels to even other countries. And looking at the fact that we bring in products from Holland, that should be of great concern to us.
Definitely. We are looking at the other choke point, talk of the Suez Canal or the Straits of Hormuz. The Straits of Hormuz, you have more than 21 million barrels of oil moving through that on daily basis, and that is about 22% of the global oil supply. So should they extend the attacks around this area, then of course we are going to see a disruption in global oil supply and a squeeze of supply as well. And anytime you see oil supply challenges, definitely it is going to contribute to a price in the surge or the surge in price of crude oil. And that will impact on the derivatives of the crude oil as well.
Indeed, I was coming to that. So which means freight could be impacted as a result of the movement of the commodity from one region to the other, right?
Of course, freight will be impacted because some of the vessels will be blocked from movement and they cannot move. It means that you have to rely on fuel or what is left to move oil across the globe. And when you have also this challenge, then of course, few vessels movement means that cost of transportation through this medium will go up and the value of the crude oil itself will potentially go up.
Again, and don't you think that the quicker this Israel and Hamas war ends, the better for all of us, especially all exporting or importing countries as well?
Nobody prays for this. Geopolitics is a huge contributor to energy security. And so anywhere you find such happenings, you must be concerned. We pray that this Christmas, the two of them will see reason in Christ to lay down their arms so that we go to the table and do a better resolution.
All right, let's come back home. Now, yesterday we had a great discussion with distributors of oil companies, basically talking about the fact that the NPA has directed importers to halt the supply of some commodity from 1st January 2024. Is that supposed to be new specifications for new fuel imports? And I just want to know whether this is indeed a good move for industry players, whether good or bad.
Yes, the current situation we are having is largely in respect to some metal found in particularly the RON 95 of gasoline, the research octane number 95. And that's what's giving the problem. We even pray that the MPA will look beyond the manganese that is found in the fuel to the, let's say, lead and zinc and the others. As we get indication today, MPA wants to reduce, by way of regulation, reduce the content of manganese in around 95, bring it down from about 18 to about 3 to 6 mil of that. And so that's a good indication. We all know that around 91 is on the market. There are other people who are so much interested in around 95, for the sake of their own vehicles, may have to rely on around 91 until the system is cleansed from this, issue that we had so far.
Well, there are also concerns it could increase the prices of petroleum products.
I don't see so, not at all. RON 95 is expensive more than RON 91. Just that the MPA must quicken its own steps to ensure that it doesn't impact on fuel supply negatively. That is the only way that we can avert any increase in price. It must not be extended at all.
Very well. Thank you very much, Nana Amwesi the He is the Executive Director of the Institute for Energy Security, sharing his perspective with us in relation to development in the oil and gas sector. Thanks so much, sir, for joining us. Now, the African Development Bank Group says it will expand investments within the energy sector to ensure sustainability. The bank said it has observed with great concern the current challenges affecting Ghana's energy sector. Country manager for the bank, Jerusalem Fasika, reiterated the AFDB's commitment to continue to aid in the development of the sector to support businesses. She was speaking at the launch of the PURC database management system. Here's more.
The project, themed Effective Utility Sector Regulation through Improved Technology in Ghana, provides a secure multi-tier management systems for all regulatory data with role-based access and front-end capability for processing, reporting, and managing the Commission's operations. The AFDB said it will continue to support initiatives within the energy sector.
The bank has been at the forefront of mainstreaming electricity regulatory issues within the broader power discourse of Africa. This digitalization initiative was born out of the bank's flagship Electricity Regulatory Index for Africa report, which empirically assesses regulatory frameworks of African countries, identify regulatory gaps and bottlenecks, and make recommendations to address them. The initiative underscores the bank's efforts to support regional member countries to improve the quality and effectiveness of energy regulation. I wish to conclude my remarks by reiterating and affirming the African Development Bank's commitment to continue support soft infrastructure initiatives as the projects are to complement the hard infrastructure in the energy sector.
Executive Director at the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, Dr. Ishmael Aka, said the system will therefore create an integrated digital platform for the exchange of real-time data and information between the Commission and the regulated utilities.
The database management phase 1, that is for more like the internal use of PRC to promote efficiency, to cut down printing, and also to help effectively manage our complaint system. To help us to be closer to the customer and make it easier for customers to complain and for us to also build a good record. The second phase is linking the PRC system to that of the utilities. So for instance, if a customer goes to a utility and complain, what happens is that we get an alert that so customer went there at this time. And it also helps us to know when the utility responded to the customer. In this way, we get live data and credible data, not data based on what the utility will write and send us, but we'll have that live data. One, it helps to take regulatory decisions quickly. It also gives us a credible source of data.
The mission-critical project aims to enable the Commission to improve the accuracy and speed of its regulatory decisions, which revolve around the efficient collection, analysis, and monitoring of utility performance data. James Ishen's report for Joy Business.
Away from the energy front, the Ghana Financial Stability Fund has commenced work as it scrutinizes requests from banks and other financial institutions. Well, this is what Joy Business has picked up from persons working on the fund. Joy Biafe has more.
The fund is now looking at how investments in the banks and other financial institutions will be carried out. That is, how should the investment in these entities seeking requests will be structured, so as modalities on all the funds will be placed in these institutions. Joy Business understands that there has been some initial request coming from some financial institutions that the investment committee of the fund is currently reviewing. The support, we understand, will be advanced to institutions that participated fully in the domestic direction program. However, this won't come free, as it will be done purely on commercial terms. It will also not be restricted to just the commercial banks, but insurance firms and every financial institution that participated in the domestic direction program. We, however, cannot independently establish whether the government has invested the seed funding of $500 million, the status of the support that should be coming from the World Bank and the African Development Bank.
Let's have a discussion on the back of this. Joining us via Zoom is a banking consultant, Nana Utui-Champong. Nana, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining me on Business Live. How crucial do you think it is for the Stabilization Fund to be fully operational, you would say? Unmute for me, Nana.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Long time, Biles.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah. Now, I was saying that it is crucial because the idea of this stabilization is to do the exact that is to get a way of the Ghana financial sector strengthening strategy, because the DDEP did weaken part of the system. And here we are talking about the whole financial system, which has got 4 subsectors, i.e. the banking sector, the capital market sector, the insurance sector, and the pension sector. Each was affected to different degrees, the most being in the banking sector. So this fund has been, or is being set up, because we are not able to use, has been set up because $750 million is required. The World Bank paying 250, and then Ghana government, the remaining 2/3, so 500. The World Bank one is in, but we are not certain as to whether the Ghana one is in or not. So once it's established, it will go some way to stabilize the whole financial system.
Good to know. How much confidence do you think the fund will bring to the financial sector? And of course, what will be its impact?
Well, the confidence, yes, 100%, because since we've already said that the institutions in the system were affected, it means that their confidence has been damaged to some extent. So we need this thing, and that's why it is said that we have this Ghana financial sector strengthening strategy, GFSSS. Now, the idea of the fund is to help restore that confidence. So it is very crucial.
I see. So, Nana, do you think that the financial sector will see a rebound soon from the impact of the DDEP?
Already, we have seen some rebound, especially in the banking sector, that the provisioning that were made, have some of them have reversed themselves, and now the banks are showing profit. So I think it was a temporary measure. So in the long term, they will reverse. And therefore, the operationalization of this stabilization fund will go to a greater extent to restore the confidence that was unfortunately lost through the DDEP.
Thank you so much, Nana Utui-Champong. We are indeed grateful for your time. He is a banking consultant. You're still watching Business Live. We'll pause here for a short break. When we return, there'll be more stories for you. Please stay. Hello, welcome back to Business Live. The government would spend 55.93 billion cedis as interest payments in 2024. That's according to the Institute of Fiscal Studies. This is 21.16 billion cedis higher than the estimated outturn for 2023. Here's more.
Its 2024 budget, it said interest payment for this year is estimated at 34.7 billion cedis, about 4.1% of the size of the economy. Again, non-interest expenditure is budgeted to grow in nominal terms to about 182.3 billion cedis in 2024 from 144.2 billion cedis in 2023. Generally, the institute said the government expenditure will rise. This is compared to an estimated lower revenue, meaning the government will miss the fiscal deficit of 5.3% in relation to the size of the economy. It described the 2024 revenue target as over-optimistic and difficult to achieve. Excluding the pandemic-induced outturn of 14.1% of the size of the economy in 2020, total revenue and grants have ranged narrowly between 15% and 15.8% of gross domestic product since 2017, despite the various revenue measures outlined in previous budgets.
More within the space, the Bank of Ghana is warning the public to be wary about sophisticated products advertised by some institutions that are not easily understood. The regulator maintains it could be a Ponzi scheme meant to lure unsuspecting individuals to invest in fraudulent products. There is more in the following Business Desk report.
This advice, or maybe call it a warning, was captured in a circular issued by the Financial Stability Department of the Bank of Ghana as part of its financial literacy program. It warns the public about what it describes as red flags of possible fraudulent financial institutions. The Bank of Ghana also advises the public to be worried about institutions that their operations revolves around one person, such as the chief executive. The regulator adds that, for instance, it should be a source of concern if payment of matured investment cannot be made because the manager has traveled. The regulator also asks the public to be careful about schemes and products that offer interest rates far higher than what is being offered on the market. The Bank of Ghana was also quick to add that the investing public should be worried about any firm that frantically worries them to roll over the investment. This exercise is part of several measures that the Bank of Ghana is undertaking to empower the public whilst it works to strictly enforce its regulations in the banking and financial sectors.
National President of the Association of Rural Banks Ghana, Kwame Owusu-Sechere, is demanding from the government the immediate payment of 480 million cedis locked up funds after the financial sector cleanup in 2019. The rural banks say the situation has negatively impacted on the operations of their members, as well as they will use every legal means to retrieve their investment since the government has turned a deaf ear to their appeal for 4 years. Mr. Owusu-Sechere spoke at the association's 9th annual celebration week in Sunyani. Precious Emevo has more.
The 9th National Rural Banking Week celebration in Sunyani in the Bono region brought together industry players to celebrate achievements and map up measures to improve the sector. The celebration on the theme, Women in Sustainable Rural Banking Business for Economic Growth, also aimed at building the capacity of women to assume more influential roles and add up to the present 8 women chief executives in 147 rural banks in Ghana. Comfort Owusu is the executive director of the Association of Rural Banks Ghana.
We want to instill in them the sense of commitment, the sense of dedication, the sense of knowing that I belong to this organization. I want to see the best of it, to push it forward as a woman. We also have to build their capacities to be able to perform better and also help them with the development of their skills. We have 147 rural banks with 8 female chief executive officers. That shouldn't be. But I believe that as we come together and we are able to plan programs, advise, mentor them and coach them, they will be able to come up.
National President of ARB Ghana, Kwame Owusu-Sechere, accused the government of unfairly holding up to their 480 million Ghana cedis after the financial sector cleanup up to 2019. He said the situation is adversely affecting their operations and the government's failure to respond to the appeals means they will employ legal means to demand their locked up funds.
These monies are monies that we had already invested in these institutions. After we have made payment through the government on taxes, levies, and all that, so that we can get something, and then also as part of our investment portfolio to help us in our industry. Then it's been locked up since 2019. At the end of the day, if we are not lucky, we are going to lose the money. And this is something that we have toiled for. And we are of the view that it will be insensitive on the part of government to sit down, to look on, to see that these monies are lost to us. And we are not going to agree to that. The amount we are talking about for the RCBs, we have about 480 million Ghana cedis invested in that. It has affected our recruitment drive because we would have expanded with these monies. And we are of the view that 2019 to 2023 is long enough, and we've had enough. And we are going to use every legal means possible to get our money back. In fact, we have appealed enough. They should give us our money. That's why at this time we are not looking at appealing. It is a demand.
Precious Semevo, Joy Business, Sunyai.
The head of public affairs at the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, Reverend Charlotte Hansen, is calling on graduates to take advantage of the green job strategy rather than wait on government for employment or look for white-collar jobs. She says graduates can leverage the country's abundant natural resources to be gainfully employed. She was speaking at the stakeholders conference in the Oti region. Peter Seno has more.
The National Green Job Strategy is Ghana's contribution to achieving the Paris Agreement on climate change targets as ratified by government in 2016. There is therefore the need to rope in the metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to consciously take steps at ensuring the implementation of the set targets to ensure decent jobs are created. Green jobs are those that the experts say would not destroy the environment, rather enhance flora and fauna. At a stakeholders' engagement with the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, Deputy Regional Minister Joshua Makubu says the Regional Coordinating Council, together with the various assemblies in the region, would ensure the Green Job Strategy is incorporated into their plans.
Human beings need to survive and they need to work. And whatever activities we undertake, in one way or the other, also have impact on the economy, on the environment. That has led to the climate change. The rainfall patterns have changed, leading to recent flooding here and there, and the drought are also in another paradigm. So now what is being done is to look at how we can't stop people from working. People must work. But how are we able to work in such a way that will preserve the environment as well? The Regional Coordinating Council is one of the strategic focal points when it comes to the preparation of medium-term development plans. So in the OT region, and after this workshop, we have our planning officers from all assemblies, the budget analysts from all assemblies, and then the Regional Coordinating Council as well. They have to ensure that they review their plans to include sustainable jobs that can be created and at the same time keeping the environment green. Because if we overly protect the jobs we have today without thinking about how the impact on the environment, it will get to a point that the impact on the environment itself will collapse the jobs we have. So we need to strike a balance to be able to sustain our jobs by going green.
The head of public affairs at the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, Reverend Charlotte Hansen, has called on the youth to take advantage of opportunities outside the formal employment to become self-employed.
Most of us after school or having, left school, we are looking at getting white-collar jobs. It's good. It's good for you to put on your tie and go and sit in the office and work under air conditioning and all of that is good. But what we are saying is that going forward, the green economy has a lot of opportunities. Okay, and the opportunities that are there are around us. There are resources that are around us that we can leverage on to become employable. So the youth should not think that, or should not come to the point or realization that, we want to go into only white-collar jobs. They can become entrepreneurs. You also realize that when we come to our part of the world here, it is not the civil servant or the private, service person who has money. It is the entrepreneurs, the businessmen who have the money.
She also called on job seekers to disregard advertisements that are linked to the ministry recruiting individuals for other agencies.
The Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations sometimes is bedeviled with a situation where people come in, especially freshers, job seekers, they come in to say that, we have been duped of some money, apparently because, there are some social media employment scams.
And that's it for Business Live for today. I am Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Always a joy serving you. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.